button, and I'm going to say this is the latest episode of the KAAMP, and I'm Thomas Zachary. Thanks for listening, and we're sitting here with Curtis Glover today. Hey, Curtis.
Hey, bud.
What's up, man?
Not much. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Enjoying a fine adult beverage, sitting across the table from a good human being, so I can't really complain too much.
Yeah, cheers, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Living that high life.
Right. So, how was Costa Rica? We'll just jump right into that.
Sure. Costa Rica was awesome. That was the third time I went back, and actually repainted a previous wall from the second time I went, and had recruited some artists actually, and we'd paint all these different animals, and just due to the like salt in the air and stuff like that, the wall was like rotting and stuff like that, so they needed it to be fixed, and it was in the excuse me, in the courtyard of this school, and they hope it's like kind of like a Montessori type thing, and they help teach Spanish and English for kids and stuff like that. And I got to go back and redesign it. And Costa Rica's theme is lifestyles, that whole Pura Vida type thing. So I did that like in this like pretty cursive, and added some local flora and fauna there. And it was really cool. So the first two times, like I went on a whim the first time, and I just helped paint a section. The second time I went, I got to recruit some other people and collaborate, and that was cool. And then the third time, the last time I went, which was, I guess I was 22, 23, I went by myself, and I stayed in this compound of international travelers and whatnot. So I was affiliated with the school, and the lady, Andrea, was in charge of that. She was my correspondent. So like getting in from the airport, and I took like a 4-hour bus ride to get to the coast, because it's in like the southwest Pacific side of Costa Rica. So it's like dry jungle on the coastline, but it's this like sleepy surf town. It's off the beaten path. It's not like going to like a like a Cancun or something.
I mean, a 4-hour bus ride is a bus
ride.
And
like and I didn't speak very good Spanish, so I was like, I hope they're taking me to where I'm supposed to be going. But it's all that, they got all that travel stuff's pretty organized and whatnot. So I got to paint this thing for a week I was there, and just the people it wasn't a hostel, but it was like a compound. So like I was always in and out because I was busy painting and stuff. But there's another American girl there who was like traveling the country and the world. But there was like a German couple, a French person, and like, I don't know, maybe an English, like a...
I love staying in places like that. You never know who you're going to meet.
And the cool thing was, this little old lady was in charge of it all, and she would cook a fresh breakfast every morning. Ooh. And get fresh like papaya and star fruit.
Man, it'd be hard for me to leave that.
Oh, it was great, and the coffee was so good. So you're like waking up like quality, and we're all sitting outside in this like kind of covered patio area, and the kitchen's right there, and we all gather, and I met people from all across the world that were just coming through. They were all there they were actually taking like a Spanish course to get some sort of like certification or whatever, and different families, and I introduced myself, and I probably got a little bit of a southern twang, and I'm like, I'm Curtis from Tennessee, and
I'm here to draw stuff.
I'm here to, because they would see my paint clothes all the time, but you just doing that, funneling that through doing art, the potential of like life experience,
so much higher.
What's out there just by doing artwork and taking a chance is, I mean, that's like gives me goosebumps to think about that. Just because I chose this path,
right,
and it led to that, and possibly other opportunities, like that's really cool. You can't. There's like a lot of I don't know, a lot of like occupations where it can lead to something like
right.
that, and so the like opportunities are just endless if you're willing to take a chance. I mean, you do make some sacrifices where you might work for free, or maybe not your average
your
rate.
Ideal scenario.
Yeah, but if you can get things. I mean, I know plenty of artists that will travel the country and they're like, I'll paint you a wall for 2 weeks on your couch or whatever. Right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're not married, don't have any kids, I guess that's a way of life. Much
less of an issue.
Yeah, but there are people that will do a lot of that trade stuff, and then you do enough things, and you have a developed portfolio, and then maybe start making some more money. But just to be able to do that and meet these different people and explore the coastline. I mean, it was so gorgeous and surreal, and the pace of life was a lot slower. You didn't have to worry about as much things. You weren't thinking about anything, and obviously that feels like a vacation. And
100%.
And reality does set in after a while, and your worries become your regular stuff.
Back to normal.
But just being in that setting and to be able to paint in that setting was just felt like a fantasy, and so that puts you in good spirits,
right?
So you attract that kind of energy, so you run into other people that are like nice and carefree, and I've learned that because I can get kind of pessimistic and cynical a lot of times, but when I've been in those good moods, I've seen that energy kind of
it rubs off on
it rubs off on people. And also in turn, if I see somebody that's being like that, like when I go to some mural festivals and stuff, I'm like, I want to meet that person and hang out and and also like understand like why they paint the way they paint. And sometimes you can see that type of mental kind of outlook in people's work, based off of their design and colors and stuff. You can kind of get an idea of their personality, and it's really cool. And it's just untapped ideas and no expectations of things with the experience that doing murals and traveling has provided. And I've only gotten a taste of it. So Costa Rica was a lot of fun. I'd like to go back. So yeah, all in all, it's really, really cool experience.
Did you bring any of that home?
In terms of what?
Souvenirs is like the normal way to interpret that question, but like any of that headspace workflow, interactions, ethos, any of the more ideological things from there.
I think I got like a T-shirt at the airport and a parrot magnet, because they had these where I was staying. They were reintroducing these like green macaws, and that's why I actually painted one of those there, and then a Quadamundi, those like kind of beaver rat looking ferret things, with like the raccoon tail. Well, it was kind of like a feather in my cap when I got back to be like, I painted out of the country, but I thought that was like a cool thing.
I would like to do that.
Yeah, and my approach, because it was kind of my kind of approach with like the whole mock-up process can be very open-ended, and I never like quite finish the mock-up like 100%.
Yeah. I
leave it up into interpretation, or I don't want to waste so much time
with the mock-up
fine-tuning it to where it might get scrubbed, or it's just like, it's like being a movie like director or whatever. It's like we'll fix it in post or whatever. So
more details later.
So, but no, it did open up like kind of some more ideas for free flowing and stuff, because here, you paint in your locale of suggested content, typical content.
Yeah.
Like right now I'm working on a UT mural at a house where it's like, Ayers Hall, the Torchbearer, the Smoky Mountains, Nayland. Like, great. I'll make it look good, but it's like you get those requests and you don't get that excited.
Right.
So, when you get to travel and go to other places, you do come back with other ideas because you're laying your eyes on a new environment. You're meeting new people. You're having new encounters. You're getting different exposures to things where your thought process alters, and then also your ideas tend to shift, and your outlook changes. That maybe I can add something else to the process to vault my work to a higher level. And so I think for any artist listening, take that chance, try that internship. There's
go do the thing.
Yeah, like there's you can apply to a lot of these requests for qualifications for Mural Fest and jobs and stuff like that. But there's also a lot of artists in residencies listed that are supported through different art organizations, where it's spend a month and I mean,
I think Luke said he used a website called Workaway where it matched people with jobs abroad, and he went somewhere in South America, I think, and painted a mural for a couple weeks.
Some people, it's like you'll paint like on canvas to present for a show for the organization, or poetry, or promote music, whatever. I've tried to apply to those national park things. I don't do it anymore because I felt like it was kind of a scam. I never heard back from anyone, but I was wanting to do like residencies at like, I don't know, the top 5 national parks.
Right.
And for staying there, I don't know, maybe it was like a couple of weeks, but it'd be like just paint like a big ass mural on like a main part of a building, or, travel center. Right. Or something like that. And I thought that'd be a cool way to like explore just.
Yeah. Spend half your summer like painting something like that would be great in a place like that.
Yeah. Like, go up to Yosemite, or, go up to I haven't been up to the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. Me neither. Trying to get there.
I want to go to like all the way to Seattle and, Pacific Northwest and, Cascades, and go all the way back down and all that kind of stuff. And
I want to see those redwoods.
Yeah.
Those are crazy.
Yeah, those things. And then, like, I think you can, like, drive through one of those in the pictures.
Yeah.
But, like, it's, like, funny how a lot of people have not explored just what's in our country. And
country's big.
And there's a lot of,
it's big.
There's a lot of cool shit, man, especially if you're a creative, man. There's a lot of inspiration out there. So, yeah, besides, like, staying in your city and painting the requested thing all the time, I would always suggest people to go on a road trip, and it doesn't even need to be like, I mean, it can be related to art. I would almost do that if that's your, if that's your skill set,
right?
And like look for reasons to try new things. Otherwise, you just get stuck in the same cycle.
Like trying new things, like painting 5,000 square feet of galvanized steel.
Yeah, with 3-inch gap recesses, and painting in the snow when we had our record snow around howling winds on the river at Valley. And,
yeah, were you up on the boom lift when those came through?
Yeah, I was up on a 60-footer. He's referring to the Marathon asphalt tank mural for anyone that's curious, but. That was a huge project, 50 by 100, so 5,000 square feet, you're right. And did that all in mainly spray paint. I got one of those Graco quick shot sprayers to base coat, but, that wind rips around. So
right there on the river, and the whole thing's ribbed and it's round.
Yeah, and that's like a heat sink for the temperature that comes off of the asphalt. It's all like this sulfuric, whatever all that aggregate is and whatnot. They use that facility to fix all the roads in the area with TDOT. So anytime you see like how crappy like 640 is, stuff like that, most likely that asphalt is coming from those big tankers you see on the south side of the river, and they run like nonstop. So, but yeah, that was a cool project with Marathon and Dominion Properties, who built some condos on the riverfront there. And they wanted something pretty, so we took some ideas, and basically what the representation is of the south side with the forks of the river sunflowers, and then the riverfront with the water sports, because like UT rowing's right there.
And Suttree Landings Park has that kayak launch or the boat ramp right there.
Yeah, so I put like a paddle in there and did like the water ripples, and obviously like Ines as well, and so we did these like topographic mountain designs, and then I had put a black lab, because that's what I saw the most walking the park was black Labradors and stuff, just because they're great outdoor dogs and they'll jump in the water and stuff, and threw in some hops for all the breweries down there. So it was like this land and water type theme.
A surf and turf.
Surf and turf with a nice floral bouquet of sunflowers in the center. So it was like a big color bomb, and it represents South Knoxville and how much that has flourished. And I had plenty of friends go down there and get houses before it all got crazy, and now it's all
crazy now.
Now it's all crazy, and the house I'm working in now just got built there, and it's it's getting saturated like everywhere else. So, but in turn, I I don't like to see it like turn into like a Nashville and somewhat of a Chattanooga to a degree. But also, like, if you're staying busy and you're in the arts, like, whether it's like interior decorating or murals or faux finishing or something, that influx, you can kind of have an outlook of like, maybe I'll get hired to do a bunch of things.
Yeah, it's not bad to have new customers come in.
Maybe, yeah. So like, yeah, you market yourself to where it's like, all right, I don't agree with this. My mortgage is going up. My bill, like, everything's going up. Property tax is going up. Like, what the hell? The best way to compete with it, I guess, is to just fight it with your ability.
Yeah.
And go, all right, well, if this many people are moving in,
they need my services.
There's a new customer base that I can reach out to or advertise to.
That's the silver lining.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be positive about it, but that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this day and age, with anything, with as fast as information is being shared and traded, and I mean, it's adapt or die essentially in a lot of different businesses, and talk to restaurants in Knoxville for however long.
Yeah, for the last 4 years, they've been really trying some shit.
I mean, just watching them since moving here and being most per capita, like the failures and all the microbreweries are going down now.
That bubble took a long time.
It did. But I mean, I tasted enough kind of crappy IPAs over and over to where I was like, they need to stop doing this. And then
there's enough of these.
And then the sour thing came in, and now it's the fizzy, what is it? The seltzers. And then now, like, there's like a non-alcoholic movement, and I've kind of steered clear to it, but I did paint for some breweries and I did some art stuff, and I got away from it. But yeah, now you're seeing kind of survival of the fittest of who has like a good legacy product, and all the other experimental people I think of are drying up right now. So
what? Enough of the bar talk.
It's all good.
the literal bar talk.
That's all good.
What were some of the challenges other than size on this mural?
Getting the approval. We were in consultation during COVID. It was years in the making. Went through a lot of different mock-up iterations, and just wanted to get the right content for everyone to enjoy. And then had to get a lot of certifications. You're filling out.
Because you're probably in a hazmat space.
I'm in a hazmat. I'm wearing a SO2 meter.
And you got to run the boom lift.
So
you got to be like safety certified with your harness.
Yeah,
and everything.
There's a safety inspector there, and you're filling out logs every day.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff. So it's it's a petrol company. So they have to follow the book. It's all OSHA and then some.
Yeah.
And so you're having to do all that, and and the fact that it was that protected aluminum with I think a zinc coating or whatever, to stop rust, you have to acid etch it. You have to open up the surface for a direct metal primer bond to it. So I had to hire a guy. He had to get in the lift and be certified, and he had to get all of his equipment to acid wash, spray the wall to open it up, then wash that off, and then I had to come back in, prime, base coat, sketch out the grid. Like all this, the prep time was like a month. It took a while, and I did it during the winter because it got delayed so much. And so, yeah, when we had that record snowfall a couple years ago.
Yeah, what was that? Last
was it
2 Januaries ago now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I was trying to paint in that,
and there was like a foot of snow on the ground.
I remember I had posted this Instagram story, and I came to the job site to try and squeeze in some work because the sun actually came out, and I was like, I don't melt, not a chance. and I remember posting the story. It was the carriage basket.
Yeah,
and like that much snow when the wind hits, it creates like a snowdrift, and there was like a snowdrift pile about up to my knee in the basket, and I was like kicking all out, and it was just so saturated, and I got to the point I go, this is just stupid, and so I gave up. And I'm a tall guy, so like it was a few feet of just like hard impact like snow you'd see like on
you were so determined.
Well, I was like, I need to keep this going because it took me quite a few months doing that by myself because the texture was the main problem. If it was a flat surface, man, it would have been less than half the time to finish that. It's just, getting it, because I was using a spray can, so
Yeah.
it hits one part of the surface of the ribbed surface, and then the recess, it fans out,
Yeah.
and then hits a hard line again. So, you can't get that hard edge. And honestly, how big that damn thing is and how far away it is in that cul-de-sac that you can see it, you wouldn't have been able to tell. But I'm too damn particular sometimes, and that makes me lose money on my time and stuff like that. But that's kind of like how I paint, and
that's your own worst enemy.
That's my own worst enemy, but that's my process. I'm not as loosey-goosey as I want to be, but there are some I look at wall spaces when I drive around and look at different stuff, and I have like different random ideas of just things that I just want to get out.
Yeah.
That probably wouldn't be like a job that I want to do, that where the paint would be a lot looser and stuff like that. So I have those ideas. I look for those building owners. Actually might be doing something, hopefully maybe downtown with a creative company, but it's like this stuff, the sacrifice is like non-paid work to just get that
out of your brain,
get that thing out of your head or heart, to just, I just need to like vomit this thing out and show the world like I can do other stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes you sacrifice one or the other, it's like that. I was talking to a friend the other day where it's like the 3 meter thing where the slides shift, where it's like good, fast, and cheap or whatever.
Yeah, you can only have 2.
You can only have two out of 3 of them, and one will shift when the other one something like that. So
you can't have good work fast and it won't be cheap.
Yeah. And if
you can have fast work, but it won't be good.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that's true. And if you're the guy or girl that's doing all 3, well, then you're not charging enough.
No, you're not.
So, because I know plenty of artists that are fast and really good, and I just hope they're getting
what they're worth.
So,
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was the prep work. Inspecting the lift, making sure my harness is all straight, having all the protective gear, having the meter on. There was cutoff times. They let me stay a little bit later as we progressed because they only worked in the mornings. But there's just so much prep work to it, and that was like kind of the initial pain in the ass. Was just getting to the point of painting. Once I got to paint, I was like, oh man, it's coming together. But like the whole mock-up phase, like nobody knows when you see a piece I've done, or any artist you've seen that paints a big piece out here, I'd say like 75% of the process was meeting the client or building owner,
and Zoom calls and
emails and meetings and consultations and design references and color swatches and paint palettes and redirection and edits, mock-up phases, approval, contracts. Holding your end of the bargain as well as them and all that. So the fun part is what the public gets to see,
right?
And that's when it feels good. Like you lead up to that thing.
The last 10-15%.
Yeah. And then the last little percentage is putting that clear coat on it with your name, and you go, I did it. I did it. That was really good. And then you get off that high, you post it or whatever, put it in your portfolio, do a little movie or, whatever montage, and you go, okay, that's in there. And then you get off that high and you go, shit, I got to do it all over again.
Something else now.
But I tend to, most people that end up getting busy in this career, they usually have a bunch of pokers in the fire.
All the time.
Some are more brighter than others, depending on the motivation of the client. Some people say, I really want to work with you, but don't talk to me till fall or whatever, or next year. And you go, okay. And then you just make a mental note, especially if they're like doing renovations or opening a business. But some people are like, hey, are you available within like a month or 2, which is usually not the case. But if the project's like, if there's creative freedom, like you said, with like the meter slides and stuff like that, like if
I can make
like
time for it.
I could like I could totally squeeze it in if it's just
if the deal's right,
if it's open ended, and we both benefit from it. But yeah, so yeah, like it's with the scheduling, it can be up in the air. It could be very regimented. It just depends on kind of how you carry yourself. But typically, it's good to like have a lot of what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I do follow back up with emails and phone calls, or if I drive by somewhere and I go, "Hey, wouldn't it be nice what we talked about?" And sometimes it comes back into fruition, but sometimes it doesn't. But it's a contact sport. You just keep going after it, and usually more times than not, if I don't get the lead, they'll remember the encounter, and they might tell somebody else that they know is opening up a place,
right.
or move somewhere, or
it's when that the it never hurts to network mentality comes in.
yeah. And I don't go to a lot of like the maker stuff. I like some of it, but I'm not like regimented in like the maker mingle things too much.
Right.
I think they're doing a great job. I guess there's a few of them. There's the Maker City, Knox Makers, and all that kind of stuff. I did a guest speaking thing at the summit thing a few years ago, and that was cool. But like I'm just too busy painting a lot.
Oh no.
But yeah, no, I know that sounds like a egotistical thing, but I do like that that's happening, and I do sometimes jump back into that to kind of see.
I'll try to stay updated too.
I think it's really cool. I've been to a few. I went to Eugenia Almeida's, the new Hue lady. I think she's Argentinian.
Yeah,
and they do like the plaster work. That's really badass.
Oh, nice.
Like plaster of Paris, Venetian stuff.
Yeah.
And just these great, really cool sculptural works on walls, and got to check out her facility and all that. And I thought that was really cool. And like I just went to go to Mighty Mud just to check it out last week.
Yeah.
Just because I thought it was cool, and I want to take pottery courses. I've taken a welding course with Preston Faribault at Ironwoods Studios, and like all the people that are like making really cool stuff with their hands, like really like gritty kind of stuff, creative. I think that's really cool, and I know I'm going off on a tangent with the maker thing, but it's cool to see all these different other things exist.
Oh yeah, the facets of the maker culture in Knoxville is really cool, and it's pretty visible.
Yeah, and I hope it keeps flourishing, and I hope circling back to the influx of people moving in, I'm hoping those opportunities are being shared with the creative community that needs some cool stuff. So like in essence, these groups of creatives can revamp the look and style of what Knoxville is.
Well, wouldn't that be the ticket?
Yeah.
I mean, being a part of the new thing, next time the new thing comes around is always nice.
Yeah, and like because we're all seeing the 5/1 beige boxes everywhere, and it'd be cool if the artists were hired to do the facade work and sculptural stuff, and like I always have like a appreciation for like the Gothic cathedral churches and all that kind of stuff. Stained glass is another one of those things, and but like just all of like the carvings and just the time it took to like hand make that stuff. I think that stuff's incredible, and it'd be cool to like give Knoxville more of that personality.
I remembered it was a twist off this time.
Oh, yeah, you did.
But and honestly, I think that's one of the things Knoxville has lacked, at least since I started paying attention to the creative scene around here, is that there's more of it to be had.
I think so, and there's a lot of people that are just they're just looking to get in any which way. It's like I see a lot of people and a lot of new artists, and I've been approached by a lot of other muralists that are starting out, and it's like, how do I what do I do? And I get this thing, and like I'll give out advice. I won't do it like constantly. I'm not going to be like your resource of
your art life coach.
Yeah. Jeez. I'm sure somebody's making money doing it, but I have noticed there's been an increase in a lot of new art, and I've seen some people on the up and up, and eventually that will be competition or is competition, but I think that's a healthy thing.
Oh yeah, it's the rising tide.
Yeah,
it raises all ships. Sort of
raises all. Yeah, exactly. So So I like to see different works in different styles because for what I do is not desirable for everyone. I mean, it's not universal to where you'd want something that I would paint. There's different artists doing different things that appeal to different types of client work, and that's perfectly fine. And I can't do everything. And
I would hate to be the person responsible for catering to everyone.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, like I have gone on stretches doing that, and it's exhausting.
Yeah,
because you're just not happy about anything, and then also, if you're trying to pitch who you are for the future, you did a body of work that you were just doing it to do it.
Yeah.
To like maybe you just pay bills or something, and you're not proud of it, but then that's what you get known for, so you get pigeonholed. And I talked to other artists as well about this, about getting put in the corner of only doing that one thing or being known for it.
Yeah, it's like being typecast as an actor.
Exactly. Yeah. So you got to be careful, and like I have deviated from some of the stuff that like I said I would never do, and I did it, but then I moved on from it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's over. I made it cool in my own way, but
now
I got to evolve, and like that's something like when I apply to those like national calls, which I never win, but I don't share those works.
Yeah. Because
it's like, that was okay. That was a paycheck. So I used to, and I still do sometimes with UT, but I still do signage every now and then.
Oh yeah, you've done a couple of their barns, right?
Yeah, I'm on the Everywhere You Look thing.
Yeah.
But there's a couple other people. There's a mural company in Nashville that's one of the artists, and then this guy from Illinois that comes down and does like 4 or 5 within like a couple weeks, and like they just schedule them all.
Yeah.
And just get them done. He's kind of like the first guy. I'm like backup, so like I'm not as consistent in them, but I've done about probably like 9 or 10. And it's just, everywhere, rotted out barns and corrugated walls and stuff like that. But I don't advertise that. You can look it up and find it.
Right.
But I don't want to be known as like the UT sign guy. Because the next thing you know, I'm paying.
Was there ever a Sea Rock City sign guy? Like, was there, how many people did that?
I was curious about that because people always brought that up. And I think the land or the farm owners, whatever, building owners got paid for that.
Yeah, they paid.
Was it? I don't know if it was like a government type marketing or a state. I think
it was a state thing, because isn't that a state park? All the people got they got some sort of reimbursement for X period of time for having that on the park,
because it's on the highways and all that, and that's like that vintage thing you see everywhere. So I think that's what kind of UT is trying to do on all the rustic barns. But I'm sure there was some guy, or like, he probably worked for like Lamar, like signs. Like there used to be like an army of sign painters that were super talented, and would
that's another one of those wayside trades, like the stained glass and stuff.
Now you can just vinyl print something in a warehouse and just wrap the billboard and be done with it. So like that's a lost art. Do you remember the warehouse burned down on Jackson?
Yeah.
And you had that big, I forget what the big sign was. I forget what it advertised.
Is the knitting factory sign? Is that what it was?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it had really cool vintage letters. You can see some of that still in the old city. Like I know they restored some of the JFG building, which is it's more modern, but you still have some of that old vintage signage that I like, the ghost signs. I love all that shit.
Well, the Market Square Garage, if you park on the top floor of that and look at the back side of the buildings across the alley, one of those buildings says phonograph on it in a black and white.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Next time you're at Market Square, drive up to the top, and it's the back side of like behind Ruby Sunshine and right there on the corner at Stock and Barrel. I think it's the Stock and Barrel building, but there it says
I love that stuff.
Blah blah blah. And phonographs. It's like an old store signage on the top back side of the building.
Yeah.
But apparently they sold phonographs, and I always thought that was cool. Like
I think
phonographs. Like, come on,
I think you need to leave that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if even if it doesn't exist anymore, it just kind of shows you like a sign of the times, the evolution of the city, and what was in at the time. And
well, I mean, it's a touchstone of technology. Like, we have telephones now, but the way people only heard the recorded voice or music in that time was with that machine.
That's true.
And now we can just do this and pick up this magic glowing rectangle and hear anything or talk to anybody. And it's really neat to have that touchstone to
I like
history.
Stuff like that, and a lot, and translate into mural work. A lot of times, is you when you do like a lot of city mural stuff, you pull out a lot of old references.
Yeah.
So I've actually obviously mainly Knoxville, but other cities, I've deep dived on the history of a lot of locations.
What did you do any good homework for that Townsend piece?
Referring to the visitor center, the two-sider. There was certain requests. Obviously, a black bear, because everyone has a damn black bear painted on their wall there. But I went to like really big detail because I wanted it to stand out and kind of make it like the black bear. But a lot of the local flora fauna. We did. I think it was a red cheek salamander was the reference. I don't know if they were endangered or not. I think they are. And I did these. I guess they were Turk's caps lilies or spider lilies, the orange ones with the kind of brownish specks. Super pretty. You can see them actually if you go like 3/4 up Mount LeConte along Cave Bluff Trail. I remember seeing these like random ones, and they're so gorgeous. Not like the bred ones you see in a flower bed, but that was in there. And then to complement it, did a blue indigo bunting.
Yeah,
those bluebirds, those pretty bluebirds, and did a swallowtail butterfly, which is like native, and a bunch of native. There was like I'm trying to think of the floral elements that were in there, but they were all like there was like lady slippers and some type of lily, but I'm drawing a blank right now. But anyways, added all that kind of stuff. So we went through that whole process of approval of what we would like to represent, and then I obviously I paint with all the colors. Yeah. So I was looking for different animals and plants that all had different things, and so that was really cool. That was with the Smokies Life people, and they sell all those little books of like insects of the Smokies and birds of the Smokies and trees of the Smokies, like all this educational stuff.
Nice.
And they relocated from across the street, so that's like right down there in the heart of Townsend. And I had met so many people traveling through that were appreciative of the painting there.
That place gets a lot of tourism, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's right there where the Peaceful Side Social Shopping Center is.
Yeah.
And and people go in there and buy souvenirs and all that. And the Smokies is the most visited park in the country.
Yeah.
I feel like due to proximity too and all that. Yeah. It's pretty convenient to get to, but that gets a lot of eyeballs on it. And I got a job lead from a town of dairy farmers in Florida in the Panhandle from that. So just painting that got me a lead in another state.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And everyone seemed to appreciate it, and they documented it well. And, that was really fun to do. And mainly I wanted the things I did paint, and I wanted to portray the conservation of our area, just because with the way land selling is, and especially the current situation with our national parks and firing staff. And I feel like that's just going to lead to a lot of bad actors. I'm glad I got to do that mural to show the beauty that's out there,
right? That
should not be taken for granted. And I was quoted in some news article saying that. And so that was kind of like my mindset of how I wanted to portray that artwork. And I feel like it succeeded, and I hope people enjoy it. And if you don't like it, well, sorry.
Well, you stuck with it now.
Yeah.
Darn, it's pretty.
yeah. So I was happy to do. I like doing stuff like that where there's like a bigger message, and I get to kind of direct how it's going to look. And so that's one cool thing is when you first meet a client, you realize like how much you can lean on them, like in a positive way.
Yeah.
Like what direction do we want to take this, and how much control do I have?
Yeah. Well, I mean, trying to figure out how much input they do or don't want to give, and how much they're letting you just run with the ball is always, if they don't say, hey, this is what we're going to do up front, then there's a back and forth there trying to figure it out.
I think if somebody reaches out to you as an artist, whether it's week one or 1 month or 1 year or whatever, they came to you. So you can somewhat, to a degree, control the narrative depending on how you pitch yourself. And obviously you need previous work to back it up, but if somebody sought you out,
they want to know what you got.
If they called or emailed you, they already looked at everything that you have online, so they have a good idea of who you are. And so think about it that way instead of getting nervous about like, oh my God, so and so called, or like a big brand called. It's like, no, they sought me out because of what I do,
right?
And so you might have some creative leverage on getting what you want out of that, which I feel like would advance you further in your career.
Yeah.
Instead of falling in line with whatever the marketing department idea is with those companies or organizations, where it's like, well, can you let me do my thing because it'd be more beneficial for me, and also I feel like I'd enhance it even more for all parties involved.
Yeah.
Instead of just like somebody creating a digital image and just saying recreate that. That's, to me, that's signage.
Right.
That's what that's what that is. So yeah. It turned out good. Yeah.
So one thing I haven't actually had a chance to ask you since you were on the first time, what are you working on for you right now? What's Curtis working on for Curtis? You got some personal artwork lately?
Jesus, I have a room full of unfinished canvases. That's what I'm working on.
You're gonna fill the room with unfinished canvases. It's performance art.
I got so frustrated with not doing my own work that I ended up taking a bunch of old wood and old canvases, and I made my own. Like I needed to feel like some sort of productivity, so I took my miter saw and everything, and I remade stretcher bars and everything.
Yeah.
And I restretched my own canvas. So I have this stack of different size canvases that are like, they look professional, like you bought them, but I just made them because I felt like I needed to do something, and then I like gesso primed them.
Yeah. How often do you paint on canvas anyway?
Very rarely. But I should do more because that's where you get your original ideas, because you don't have to get permission to do anything. You don't have to go somewhere or ask somebody if it's okay. You just do it. And like, I guess the trade-off is like, I want to get paid for the work, and like my downtime is my downtime. Like I don't want to go back home and then go paint. But sometimes I feel like you need to. I think that it's healthy. I've been putting it off for too long, and that's my own damn fault. But I have like 3 canvases right now that I'm kind of like 10-15% in, but they're for other people.
Yeah.
That like they're actually for other artists that I appreciate, that I want to show like, hey, here's kind of the reason why I'm doing this, because you helped me see that like it's possible.
Right.
And so like these are like some tribute pieces, and then I've done stuff for like family and loved ones and my girlfriend and stuff like that, but for me, I don't have like a particular piece where it's like all of my inner thoughts or demons or fantasies or whatever that I'm like, ooh, this would be good to get out. This is me. But I did. It's not confirmed, but I might be doing a gallery show next year or end of this year, and so I don't know if that's going to happen. But
is that going to be like canvas pieces or
it'd be canvas? It'd be canvas pieces, different sizes and stuff. And I even like working on wood, because you can get like some hard edges and stuff like that. But it's going to force me to come up with my content.
Oh yeah, you got like, if you've created the vacuum, now you got to fill the vacuum.
Yeah,
I do that to myself a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
And I'm like, well, but it's a different direction than doing a commercialized mural. So maybe it's a good thing. And I think it's just healthy to challenge yourself too. Just like the travel thing, just take the risk. Life's getting shorter, more stressful. I feel young, but I turned 42. in January.
How old are you in your head? Because I'm like a solid 27 in my head. And for the record, I'm about to turn 34.
Yeah.
I'm a solid
I'd
like
say
27 in
I'm
my
trying
head.
to think of like I'd say like 26, 27.
I feel like that's pretty normal.
I still don't know shit. I just figured out that you could make an okay living painting murals, and so I'm going for it.
Right.
And I had no. This wasn't my big plan. I didn't set out to do it. I was a mass communication major in college, doing newspaper articles and video production.
I mean, you're still pretty mass communicating.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Somebody in Florida saw some of your work in Tennessee. That's pretty mass, if you ask me.
Yeah, but this was like, excuse me, this was like
a bit more formal in the context.
This was like news writing,
right?
Like, writing for your local paper and doing like public access TV commercials, and I just I just wasn't cut out for it. But yeah, I had that creative, that energy I needed to get out. So I've just been figuring it out. But yeah, so like that does, in a sense, like since it's open ended and there's no guarantees, it's scary as shit. but it does kind of keep you young because it forces you to try and thrive.
Your plasticity has to be
up
there.
You have to prove something to your, obviously to everyone and to society to make a living, but like you have to prove to yourself that you're worth a damn. And whatever you put out visually, like people are going to enjoy, and you're going to enjoy it. And so I think that energy, whatever that soulful spark is that artists, creatives contain, I do feel like it does, not like de-age you, but it keeps you. It doesn't keep you.
You're engaged. You're on your toes.
You're engaged. It's like you're active. You're.
Your brain and your body are working together.
You don't feel as jaded,
Wait, what?
Well, sometimes, but yeah,
now we're talking about unique experiences.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're right. It keeps you engaged and active in a way that intermingles the mind and body that tends to be pretty damn helpful for a person.
I think so. And for especially mural work, you're on your feet, you're on ladders, you're on scaffolding, you're out in the sun.
Yeah. You're
sweating your ass off, you're freezing your butt off. You're dealing with the elements, so like you're in your own headspace, so you're active doing something. You're not sitting down staring at a computer screen. I mean, a lot of people do that, and God bless them. But I never got to that point in my life career-wise. I never got a corporate job.
No corner office with a view.
No, I wasn't. I wanted to be a graphic designer when I got out of college, and then graphic designers were like dime a dozen at the time when the first housing crisis hit, 07, 08.
Yeah,
and I think base pay was like 30, 40, and I just couldn't get my foot in the door, and so I ended up going into the bar business, restaurants. I did the opposite. Most people do that stuff through college. I did it after school, but the
important is you got it. It built character.
But a lot of my work started from bar restaurant industry because of how tight, like how small Knoxville is. And actually, I got my start. Like the first full-time mural I think I did was like the Boys Jig and Reel stage.
Yeah, and
I had done some other stuff on a smaller scale, but like that was like the segue. So I can't get too frustrated.
No.
But it's not like a proud time in my life, but I was finding out who I was. It just took me longer.
Yeah.
So, when I see these other artists come in and new people come in, whether they move here or they're just taking a risk, like it could be a UT art student, it could be a high school kid, it could be somebody in their mid-20s, and they're starting now, and I'm like, oh man, you're already way ahead of me.
Yeah.
Because like I got like maybe 15 years on you in age, and I started like 8 or 9 years ago. It's like, oh, you're going to be badass in your like early
when the age I started doing this stuff.
Do it.
They'll be badass by the time you really started taking it serious in your life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They already have a foundation and a whole portfolio of work, and I hope to see that. And if if that raises all the ships, like you said, for Knoxville-based artists, that can do it for longer
Right.
and do it for another 10 years and another, after that, and have the reputation of this hub of really good creatives, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And everyone's got it. Everyone's going at a different pace, and nobody quite knows where it's going to end or how long it's going to go. But in the meantime, if you got that desire, grab a brush and a spray can and get after it.
And literally anything else,
whatever's within reach. Yeah. I mean, really, with like I said, all the other stuff that I've seen with the sculpture and the welding and all that kind of craft work, I love to see it, and especially with what a lot of things that are being built, it's not mandatory, I would say, but it's looking more and more like people appreciate all these unique skilled trades that you're seeing it more and more in like lobbies and like common areas where they're like, we got to have this. And I don't know if they're pressured to do so because it looks good for PR purposes or if they really appreciate it,
right.
But you are seeing more of that. So, and as an artist, you could push that in the maker programs and organizations and the other arts nonprofits like Dogwood and stuff like that. Like we're all kind of slowly pushing that, like a big bulldozer blade, just slowly kind of moving everything to the forefront, right. To where it's like, hey, there's some really cool stuff going on, and we could contribute and accent whatever the big developments are,
right?
Whether it's downtown or elsewhere. I feel like we're on the up and up, so it's good to be a part of it and help add to the landscape.
Well, Curtis, I think that's a pretty good note to sort of wrangle this episode in on, and we'll hit the last couple of questions and be done.
Sure.
Who are some folks you would like to hear on the other end of the microphone in the future from around town?
Well, let's see. I know I'll draw some blanks, but you had Chance on here before, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've known him for a long time. Okay, so that checks that.
He and I may have a reason to get together in the future. He's got some conversations pending that I'm really excited about.
Sure.
So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, those are old Midnight Voyage days.
Oh boy.
I painted at some festival. He got me in some festivals a long time ago, and through his connections and he's a really nice guy. But I felt like he had.
I think he and I are painting the Humphreys show at the Mill and Mine on the 5th.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah,
I've been trying to paint a Mill and Mine forever, and I don't know how to like. Do you just like?
We'll talk off.
Do you just like confront Ashley Cass and go, "Hey man, let me paint some cool stuff"?
I had to be somewhat confrontational. Chance was a little more confrontational than me, but I'll tell you about it.
I think I did approach him at a Pekakacha thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And he spoke, and I was like, "Hey man, I'm an artist. I want to paint some stuff." Like I was like whatever, but went nowhere. But yeah, that whole area, like the Knox Walls thing. We didn't talk about Knox Walls.
That's okay. I mean,
okay,
yeah,
okay. But my friend Megan Lingerfelt, who is an ultra talented artist.
I hit her up when she was what is it on Sutherland, where Sutherland and where the skate park and stuff is. She did that big like floral mural piece.
Yeah,
across from Marble Alley
Business Park. Alley.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, she's everywhere. She stays busy. We compete against each other. We collaborate. We bid against each other. We're buddies, and she's really nice and talented, and she's been doing it for quite a few years. She was on another podcast.
Was it Ramblin' Man?
I think so.
Recently.
But yeah, it'd be good to pick her brain about her projects and her process because she paints different than I do.
Yeah.
So, she would be one person I'd talk to. I'm trying to think. There's a guy. Speaking of like up and coming artists, and it was at Knox Walls. His name's Jared, and he is a really talented guy that did some. He painted in the alleyway. Yeah, Jared Luke. Sorry, buddy, if I forget it, but Luque. He's a muralist, and he's gotten some gigs around town, and he's really good with acrylics. Paints real like buttery. He does these like bright animals. He's super talented. I would, Ashton.
Yeah.
Ledden.
Yeah. I still need to get her on. She's been on the list for a while.
She's one of the artists I follow at a distance that does all the print making stuff, because I have no idea how it happens. But I'm just like, I appreciate it.
You need to stop by Relay Ridge on an open house day.
I think they have an event coming up.
And
for like the maker thing, like a mingle, and I was like, you know what?
It's nice. I've been there a few times for some of their open houses, and when they have art show nights and First Fridays and whatnot, her and her partner have done an excellent job.
Yeah,
putting that place together.
Another one would be Kate Buck for Kate Made Co. I think she was working with Robin Easter Design at one point, but she's painted some walls, and she's a really, really good painter. There's just a lot of people. There's you can go on the directories online and check them out. And I don't know everyone, but
but this is way more fun than looking at directories online.
That's true. These are the people that I've actually interacted with, that I've talked to, and we've traded information. And all that. So definitely Megan, Kate, Jared, Ashton would be people, and I'm sure there's some other people.
Unknown quantities of other talented folks.
Yeah, that's just what's on my mind, because like with the social media, y'all like interact, and it just gets so convoluted sometimes. But yeah, there's a lot of talent out there, and I think is untapped, and everyone's just looking for their chance to shine.
Hey, Knoxville is an excellent place to be a creative person. I've had that opinion for a really long time.
I agree, and I hope to keep contributing to it.
All right, Curtis, tell everybody where they can find you on the internet, and then we'll sign off of this thing.
Yeah, just Facebook and Instagram. Just look up Curtis Glover Creative. It's all portfolio work. I share some kind of news articles that relate to me sometimes. It's pretty much just straight art, and no influencer type stuff. But just Curtis Glover Creative.
No silly dances?
No TikTok dances. No slow turn canvas reveals.
What?
No AI voiceovers. No filters. No, actually, I don't really. There's a few pictures of me, but anything I've posted is just me.
Yeah.
And it's somebody else took a picture that was like a professional to like show me out in the wild. But I like the whole like kind of like self-absorbed like.
You mean you don't have little heart-shaped freckles in your pictures?
No.
Darn, just me.
Yeah, no. I'll DM you those later.
Okay,
but it's just I just try and post the artwork, and now they've screwed up the video format and to go vertical. So I think I got to do like some video stuff, but it's just the artwork. So if you're interested, it's what it is. That's what I do. If you want to know who I am, that's what I'm about. And so yeah, at Curtis Glover Creative, and then just look up Curtis Glover Creative on Facebook business pages. So.
Got your SEO on point.
To a degree. I still don't have a website, but I need to get all that together and use some Squarespace. Or I don't know. We'll figure it out.
One of those things.
So.
All right, everybody. That's been the latest episode of the KAAMP. Thanks, Curtis, for meeting me in the middle on this conversation. We had an excellent time. If you want to look him up, hit his socials, Curtis Glover Creative on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to support the show, you can share it and do all the normal things like, rate, subscribe, blah, 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 irritate your friends with it. You know the whole ordeal because you love them, right? Otherwise, if you want to more directly support the show, you can do that monetarily by finding the Red Zachary Creative Etsy page. That's where my personal catch-all things go. You can get yourself a KAAMP hoodie and some other sarcastic, snarky things. And if you want to buy art of yours truly or with yours truly, you can buy that at TTW_artworks at Instagram or Facebook. Whatever you see posted up there recently is for sale, and I'd happily sell it to you because I make stuff you should own. And I appreciate y'all listening. Have a good one.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.